Hello, beautifuls. It's Friday. We have a half a foot of snow on the ground, and it's a gorgeous day. And I'm here to celebrate you for I think we're on day 8 of 21 days of gratitude. And today we're going to talk about intuition. So before we dive in, first off, I want to check in and see how you guys are doing. How have the first 7 days gone for you? What have you learned? What have you experienced? What shifts have been created in your space, in your world? Love to hear. Please share. I know I've experienced so many shifts this week. And as well, what are you grateful for today? So for me, I'm grateful that I got a chance to um, build a snowman. I'm just looking at the snowman. Build a snowman with my daughter. And that I get to do that because I don't have to leave my house to go to work. This is my work, and I can plan my day how I choose, which is amazing. And I went for blood work this morning, and I'm grateful that usually there's a couple of hour lineup where we go because there's now only one in town. And I walked right in. I got a parking spot right at the front, and I walked right in, and I waited 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. I was in and out, and it was amazing. And I was able to come back and finish making the snowman with my daughter. And now I'm grateful for a quiet house so that I can talk to you. So what are you grateful for today? All right, so today, what did I say? I think I wrote a post on my Facebook page today. I'll just read it. What did I write? You will never know if you don't try. That just popped in my head this morning, and I put it down. And as I went throughout my day, I felt the nudge to talk with y'all about intuition. And so this is a perfect phrase for what we're going to talk about, because we all have intuition. For the majority of my life, up until just a few years ago, mine was completely turned off. Mind you, let me correct that. I always had a very strong spidey sense. I just never listened to it. I was unawake, unaware, unconsciously living my life. My life has flipped upside down. I'm not the same person that I was a few years ago. And now I deeply, deeply trust, follow, act on my intuition. That has monumentally shifted my life. And today we're going to talk about intuition and the gratuity that I have for learning how to use and listen and trust and act upon my intuition, and how much deep gratitude I have for myself for that journey. And if this is something that you connect with, I'm going to give you some tools to experiment and learn how to trust and connect and to tap into your intuition, and give thanks to this amazing compass that we have inside of us that helps us navigate our life with divine and deep trust and pure soul satisfaction. You get rid of the noise around you. It's like a strobe light blinking at you. So when I first started my spiritual awakening journey a few years ago, I was going through some pretty traumatic personal / relationship experiences that I had just said enough is enough, I'm done. I threw my name in like a tarot or a psychic reading Facebook group, and I said, can I have a reading? Can I follow this? Can I do that? And, everybody kept responding back and saying, and it wasn't what I didn't want to hear. It was very peculiar because it was at a soul level that I knew what they were saying was surface, and I knew I believed something deeper, and I couldn't understand why. And I kept checking back and forth with myself. Am I believing this because of fear, or am I believing this because of intuition? And I didn't understand. I didn't know how to use the tools. And, that kind of kicked off the journey for me. And I connected with an amazing soul at that time that introduced me to energy healing and chakras. And that sort of spiraled into me exploring tarot and astrology and crystals and, all these like amazing tools that I really had no education on whatsoever. And I use the word education because I always was interested in astrology. My whole life I've been drawn to, Greek and Roman mythology and astrology and psychic and tarot. And I mean, I'd get my tea leaves read and my cards pulled, and, it was always fun, but I was drawn to it just like other people are not drawn to it. So full circle, coming back to a few years ago, reconnected with that because I was seeking answers, because I wasn't getting the answers that I needed externally. And what I now know, reflecting back, was that was my soul presenting an opportunity for me to basically flip everything upside down and go within and start the journey to trust myself and start the journey to explore my intuition, strengthen and build and learn to lead with my intuition, my internal intuition, versus listening to the external world around me, other people, places, things, career, television, social media, you name it. And everything's completely different now. I look at that with a completely different lens. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's entertainment. And I filter it, and I very rarely let a lot of that in. Like, I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news for years. Because I've learned that a lot of it is what the external world wants to present to you. And I'm just getting full on spirit chills with this. The external world, people, places, things, want to show you what they want you to see. They don't want to show you everything. So if your spidey senses are telling you that something's off and you're conflicted with trusting and moving and following that spidey sense, these are some tools that I'm going to give you today that are going to help you have fun and build, strengthen your confidence and your stability and your leadership with your, oh my God, I'm just getting like full on spirit chills, your leadership for yourself, so that you can then decipher what you feel comfortable bringing in from your external world into your protective bubble, into your space, and then what you don't need to bring in, which will again create another level of sacredness around you to deepen your trust, to deepen your intuition, to deepen your internal guidance to push you forward. Okay, so I've got a few things here. Take what you want, leave the rest. You might be drawn to something today, and then a few months from now, once you've expired and you've sort of graduated from that, you might want to follow something else. So for me, what my little paper trail started with energy healing, and I can talk about that on another lesson because that's a little bit of intuition, but that's feelings, and that's not what I want to talk about today. But that started with energy healing. I explored chakras, meditation. Like, I'd never meditated in my life. And when I started doing that regularly a few years ago, that was one of the biggest things that shifted the noise in my head, and I was able to kind of just get my head wrapped around it, and then just start slowly creating space inside of me. And then, I enjoy watching tarot and readers and whatnot on YouTube. I think it's super fun. Years ago, I was looking at it for guidance, and now I very rarely do. I just follow one, mostly because she just feels like a mom, and I just love connecting to her. But it's pure entertainment, because literally everything she says, it's completely like, it's like she's channeling her words through my world, and I'm, yep, check. So it's more just, it's instead of watching a soap opera in the afternoon, that's my entertainment. Instead of watching the news, I pick and choose where I spend my time. And so I've got some tarot and oracle cards that I'll share with you. And anybody can do this. Anybody can use crystals. I think that's it for now. But what I originally started to do was create a sacred space around myself. I learned how to ground and center. I learned how to connect with my spirit guides. I learned how to connect with my divine feminine energy within and basically heal and restore from within and extend outward. And so I'm going to do that with you today. And this is what I do with all of my clients. I think I did this on another lesson, maybe the second day. And yeah. So if you want, oh, and also I've got some sage. I use sage and I use Palo Santos. And the really cool thing with Palo Santos is you want to make sure, because it's an endangered agricultural tree, that you do never, if you're going to source Palo Santos, you do not want to get it from the tree itself. You want to get it, the pieces of the bark that have fallen on the ground naturally. Okay. And so what I do is I just light some sage, cleanse my space. So you can see right now. And I just kind of go through a few little mantras. So I'm going to do these for you and you can follow along, close your eyes, and we'll just go through a few things and let me know how you feel, okay? Negativity that invades my sacred energy and space, I banish you away with the light of my grace. You can hold your power here, for I stand and I face you with no fear. Be gone forever, for this I say, this is my sacred energy space, you will obey. I invite the One, the Great Spirit. Ground, center, and connect me to Mother Earth's organic matrix. And to ground, center, and connect me to Mother Earth's emerald heart and the black hole beneath it for my highest benefit now. Invite Mother Earth to release and draw out all negative low vibrational energies and frequencies from within and around my entire being and raise my vibration to the highest frequency now. I invite my angelic realm, my ancestors, my guides, my spirit animals to surround me, to protect me, to heal and guide me throughout my day for my highest benefit now. I invite the divine feminine within me to rise from my sacral chakra and heal and restore organic energy for my highest benefit now. And so what I do with this is I do this before every session. I actually did this before I hopped on this live, and I'm doing this to show you what I do for me. This isn't the be all and end all. You could Google a prayer and connect to that. You could get a prayer from another teacher. You could just speak with what feels right for you. Okay, there's no wrong, and that's part of about building and strengthening your intuition. There is no right or wrong. Your soul already knows. You just have to get rid of the noise, to trust, to listen, and then act. And so what that does is it creates an energetic level of safety around me. And then I connected with my cards, and we're going to actually do this for you guys today. So in honor of the November, I think it's 18th today, 19th, the lunar eclipse, let's pull some cards, shall we? So I'm going to show you. So this is when I was going along my journey of learning to trust my intuition, I started with this deck, which I love. The cards are just gorgeous, and it's an oracle deck. And I have both oracle and tarot. You can pick or choose whichever one you're drawn to. There's no right or wrong. And then the next deck I ended up getting was the Rider-Waite deck. And that's the original tarot deck that you're probably familiar with. And then the next two decks I got, which are absolutely gorgeous, is the Threads of Fate Oracle and the Denise Lynn Sacred Travelers. Now what's interesting is I've had these, I think I've had the first two probably a year and a half or 2 years, and I've had these last two coming up on a year. And what's interesting is when I first started using them, it was with whatever, because I didn't know. And it has since morphed into a strengthening and a training and a validation of what I'm thinking is actually presenting itself. And now it's at the point where it's almost like it's almost a redundancy. Like I don't need them because my intuition is so strong that it's now entertainment for me. I don't need them to know what's going on. Before, it was kind of like training wheels for my intuition. So this is a really great way for you to learn how to strengthen your intuition, to kind of like give you a little nudge, like, yeah, you're doing okay, you're going in the right direction, and let's have some fun doing this. And so if you have any other questions about this, feel free to drop in the comments or flip me a message and I can help you through this. Yeah. So I'm going to probably pull two. We're not going to do a full spread today, but I'm going to pull an oracle from the Secret Language of Light, and I'm also going to pull a Denise Lynn. And the reason I'm doing this is I think they'll be fun for the new moon. Okay, so what I typically do, see what I mean? Like I literally just cut the deck. And that's my validation of this deck, that I'm on point, that I'm in my feminine energy, that I'm in flow, and that I'm in leadership. And it's fucking awesome. And so what I typically do is I go through that, the things that I just went through with the sage and the mantras to myself, and I connect with my spirit guides and ancestors and angelic realm, and I literally just say, what do you want to tell me today? What do I need to know that's for my highest good? I don't try and control the answer. I let the answers come through, and I just sit with it. And sometimes it's on point, and sometimes it's like, but then later in the day it makes sense, you know. But for me, this is just a really fun way to strengthen my intuition. So I'm going to pull a card for us. We're going to see what we get. What is the message that the ladies on this training need to hear right now for their highest good? What's the message you would like to share? Everyone's connecting in. And I usually typically let it fall out, and sometimes intuitively, if it's just shuffling too long, sometimes the message isn't supposed to come from that deck, or sometimes it's just jumbled and there's just a mixed match of energy, and that's okay. What's the message? There, and that one flipped over. We are in an expansion period. This lunar eclipse, this new moon in Taurus, has closed out the Gemini North Node and kicking off the Taurus North Node cycle. Has closed out and is closing out karmic loops that have been around. And you can probably feel it, that you're tying up and you're wrapping up loose ends. Go back to the lesson from yesterday and the day before. Once you create that space, it gives you room to expand and call in your growth, to lead and follow that intuition and bring more abundance into your life and expand. And so I'm going to read this to you because that's a beautiful card. I love that. Travel at your own speed of light. Are you keeping up with your life and all that you want to create? Or are you holding yourself back with what ifs or buts? You limit your life through your beliefs. Everything you say and everything you do becomes true for you and is the platform on which you build your life. The playing field of life is unlimited and loving. You are unlimited, loving, and wondrous part of creation. You are perfect right here and right now. You are different, and therefore think differently to last week, last year, last decade, and yet you will always be you. What you are observing is your view. It is neither right or wrong, but a way to become clearer about what you like and don't like, so that you can choose what to focus upon. The events and experiences of your life will grow in meaning as your consciousness expands. Learn to focus and dance in time with the energy and speed of your desires, and they will arrive easily in surprising and satisfying ways. And if you go back to the post that I did this morning, you'll never know if you don't try. You'll never know what it feels like to live with intent, to live with intention, to lead with your intuition if you don't try. It's a huge leap of faith to move from 3D, like regular living on Earth, day to day, go to work, wake up, go to work, come home, have dinner, hang out with your family, to jump to 5D, which is, you're kind of feeling your way. It's energy, it's intuition, it's completely different. And it's a leap of faith to take you from what is comfortable to not, like, that's something that you're not taught about, is to learn to trust and lead and listen to your intuition. And so when you do, you'll find that time starts collapsing. So it's something that might have taken you 6 months, or, oh my God, I've just been racking my brain, I can't figure this out, or I wish this relationship would be better, or I don't like this job or this career, whatever it is in your life that you're not happy with, when you start to lead and follow and trust your intuition, that in and itself is one layer of healing. There's many others that are connected with that open up space and expand for you to connect and listen to your intuition. But when you start to listen and trust your intuition, time collapses like that. Because you're expanding and you're making space for all the goodness that your soul wants to bring in, and you're letting go of all the noise and the clutter. So that's one. And then I'm going to pull a card for the other, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about the crystals and the pendulum. And then that's it. So the Denise Lynn deck is pretty cool because it has these beautiful messages. Well, it's called a Sacred Traveler's deck, and it's basically a message of travel. And I kind of always feel like it's like grandma talking to me or my mom talking to me, and you're fine. This is what you just need to know right now. So what is the message that the collective on this session is needing to know for their highest good? What is the message that they need to know for their highest good? Two came out. Okay. So we have surrender to the journey, release control. And we have discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. And part of learning to listen and trust and act upon your intuition is really letting go of control. And a former control freak like me, who was in corporate America for 20 years and has 3 little kids, my whole entire world revolved around juggling 7 balls at any given time and making sure they all stayed in the air, and if anything dropped, the shit would hit the fan. So I had to maintain tight control on everything because at least it was predictable and I could know what happened. That is also including the unhappy pieces that I had in my life. At least I knew if I did this, that would happen. And when you let go of control, oh crap, that's scary, because it's a deep trust to allow your intuition to speak. But when you let go of control and you surrender to the journey, you get to discover the truth of who you are and where your soul wants to take you. And it will blow your mind. I couldn't have imagined, well, 2 months ago for sure, a year ago for sure, and 3 years ago, I mean, I'm not the same person that I was each of those times. But the amount of shifts that have happened in my life have happened because I've trusted my intuition. And I never did that before. And I was never happy because I was missing the mark. And now, because I'm deeply trusting and following my intuition, it's like the little paper trail. And I just keep listening. I don't need to know the whole story. I just need to know, all I need to know is the next step in front of me, and the next step in front of me, and the next step in front of me. And then that's my intuition leading me quietly, whispering little golden nuggets of goodness. Follow the yellow brick road, right? I spent a lot of time off to the side of the thorns, and I'm done being in the thorns. I'm perfectly happy being on the yellow brick road right now. So I don't think I need to read those because they're pretty straightforward. So we're going to put those aside for now. And then the other thing I want to show you is another thing that I did, although I haven't done it quite as much as I do my cards. I really like the cards. But another thing that I got really a lot of joy out of was using pendulums. And there's tons of ways that you can use pendulums. You can use it for energy healing, for balancing your chakras, for asking questions. And it's super easy to use. I always sage mine and clean it. You know, I clean them on the full moons to charge them. And I've got selenite as well that I use to keep them cleansed. It's like a big wad of it. I don't know why it's in a wad. And so what you do is you basically, you hold it straight and you create a baseline of a yes or a no. You just ask questions. And when you start to use this, and the way that it works is you have to get rid of the noise. So if you're panicky and rushed and anxious and in fear and depressed and all these, like, it's not going to work. It's going to, you know, you're not going to trust the answer. Okay. So I would advise that you could do it before or after you meditate. You could do it maybe after you journal, or just relax, or take, whenever you're in a relaxed state, that's the best time to use it. And what you do is you just kind of ground it, and you say, and sometimes you can also put it by your heart as well. And you can also use it to check the balance of your chakras. That's another way that you can use a pendulum, but you can simply literally just say, show me a yes or no. So show me a yes. What does a yes look like? And I'm not moving my hand at all. And what this does is it actually picks up on your energy field, your energy frequency. So you're going to have a different vibration than the next person. And so this is a bit of a leap of faith, of trust, of working with your intuition and with the tool. In many ways you can do it to strengthen your intuition, to trust, and then have gratitude for that trust and that experience. So we'll do it again just to show you. So show me a yes. So I stop it. Show me a yes, please. And you can see that it's swinging like this. So now, show me a no. Show me a no, please. So my no's don't move. And I know this because every time I pick up a pendulum, it's the same thing. This is my yes, and this is my no. You're going to have a different, you might swing this way, you might go like this, you might not stop. What you do is you just figure out what it is, and then ask a question. And then you can ask anything. You can practice, like, do I like chicken? Am I enjoying the snowfall today? How does this person feel about me? And whatever you're feeling in your energy field, that's your intuition speaking. So again, at some point, you're going to get to the point where you don't need this, because you're just going to know. And then you're going to trust that deep knowing. You're not going to need this. But while you're practicing and building and learning, it's a fun way to experience something that you didn't learn in school, a new education. It's a fun way to validate, and I'm getting spirituals with this, and it's a fun way to validate your internal knowing. And then it becomes it becomes obsolete. You don't need it. And so I haven't used this in a while because my intuition is so strong, I don't need it. But I do bring it up for fun every now and then. And then my kids like to play with it too. And then the other thing I use is crystals. So I have tons of little crystals that I love. This one's in the shape of a heart. Some of these are to connect with spirit guides. Again, these I've had for quite a while. I don't use them the way that I used to before, because now I look at things quite a bit differently. But at the very beginning, I was using it because I felt like I needed a connection from my 3D reality to the 5D to get me there in like some type of a connection of trust, because I needed to tangibly see and feel and believe all of this stuff that I couldn't see. Even though I knew and I felt it, I couldn't see it, so I needed something to like connect into. And now I love it for decoration. I love it for, you know, my ritual, my sacred space. It's like an amazing sacred space for me, and I definitely use them when I meditate and pull out because it magnifies the energies. But yeah, you can use them however you want. And then I've also got these. I've put them in a beautiful little tray. I can tip that without you guys seeing it. And these are all the chakras. You can put them in grids. You can do whatever. And like I said, everybody follows their own path. So for me personally, I haven't gone down the route of like diving deep into crystals the way some people have, because that works for them and that's totally amazing. I love the way they look. I love the way they feel. And at some point, I'll probably dive deeper with them. But for now, they are just serving a purpose of creating a very sacred, beautiful, connected space for me. And that's more than enough for me. Because now it's like everything I need is here. So those are the tools that I use, and there's plenty more. And so I just encourage you as homework for today, follow the paper trail. What are you interested in? You know, what do you want to explore that you didn't learn in school? You know, maybe you want to explore Buddhism. Maybe you want to explore Hinduism. Maybe you want to do yoga more or meditate more or learn about energy healing or chakras or tarot or astrology or crystals or, you know, anything. Follow that paper trail. And then I'm just going to read it again because I forgot what I wrote. You'll never know if you don't try. You'll never know if you like it, if it works, if it brings you joy and passion and pleasure and purpose and freedom and love and peace and joy. And this has opened up a whole world of fun for me that I never knew even existed a few years ago. And it's such a beautiful way for me to connect back with myself, with my feminine energy, with my warrior, with my mother, with my witch, all these different archetypes within me. It's a beautiful way for me to connect with others, and you know, together we rise and paying it forward, and we all grow together. And this is all about community, and this is all about healing, and this is all about you know, helping others. And when you help yourself, you help others. And so I just encourage you to explore the paper trail of what is something that's in your periphery right now that you might not want to, you might be afraid of, or you don't have the time to. Carve out the time and the space to explore it. Read a Google article, watch a YouTube video, go buy a crystal, go, you know, go to like a store and just kind of hang out and just see what calls to you, one of those like spiritual crystal stores, and see what calls to you. And then the very last piece about this is have gratefulness for yourself, gratuity for yourself, that you took that leap of faith and you explored something that it's kind of like a little bit of, noise isn't the right word. It was whispering to you. And you followed that whisper. Because that's your intuition saying, I'm ready to grow. I've learned what I need to learn. I'm ready to learn some more. This is what I want to learn. Can we please go learn it? And then honor that commitment to yourself that you've just made to follow that paper trail and go and explore and sink deeply into that gratitude that you're fueling, you're feeding your soul growth. And it's powerful. It is powerful. So have a great day. Have a beautiful Friday. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I love you. And have a great day.